I love to talk in my classes. And one thing I notice is that seems to be a large component of grading for a lot of courses, or at least a lot of the ones that I've taken and am looking at is participation. And as someone who participated a lot, I wish that the others would have participated more, since we're all being kind of judged or graded on the same scale, and it would add to the conversation. I know personally I don't like being called on to read out loud. I just get really nervous and it doesn't happen correctly. And so I can understand being nerves being a part of not wanting to, add to the conversation. But at the same time, I feel like if one set of students in the classroom is doing it, everyone should be a part of it. And so if you have to prompt them to do it, I don't really think that's stepping outside of your bounds.
I really want to add an introvert's perspective on that. I think cold calling puts an introvert in a terribly uncomfortable space, which undermines confidence, undermines many other things. I think a more efficient and maybe a more inclusive way of doing that would be pop quizzes, maybe something in the written form, maybe allowing some flexibility in the way you're asking those questions. So just being mindful of the different temperaments, of the different, social needs of your students. So don't assume that everyone, if they're ready, they're comfortable speaking up, because that's not true.
I found that it works to ease students into it. It might not be something that you do the first month, or the first month, or it's something that you kind of build, and as you learn and earn the confidence of students, it can be more effective. A way to get around the problem, some students just don't react being put on the spot very well. So a way that you could do it, if you really want to increase classroom participation, is to warm students up by having them write something down on paper before you do a call around the classroom. Yeah. That way they've had some time to warm up their thoughts and have something developed before you call them. So I found that to be quite effective. Or you could do a paired discussion right beforehand, instead of just doing the cold calling that we tend to think of when we're thinking about that.
I mean, I think those are all great ideas. Cold calling, there are benefits to it. And I think one of the benefits is that your students are going to be prepared for the class. They are going to do the reading, and they'll be ready. I think you could also possibly give them leading questions that you're going to ask in the next class. That's been done before, and very successfully in classes I've taken. And perhaps maybe give students a pass, sort of like a get out of jail free card, so they can come up to you once or twice a semester and say, look, I'm really not able to be cold called today. I'm not prepared. I don't know how you feel about that, but the other thing about participation, I've found as a former teacher myself, it often helps to ask the class to get into smaller groups and discuss things, and then come back to the table. And people who might not normally speak, who have already had a chance to rehearse what they'd like to say, or to think through their thoughts a little more, oftentimes become more vocal. And that's a way of getting students to speak more.